Greetings. I am Shawn Redman, aka the cheesily named Darth Shawn. And this weekend I celebrated a birthday. It was my 28th birthday. And I just thought I would look back and just kind of spend a little bit of time telling you and all you have watched what Star Wars means to me and kind of how it all has played into this. And so there's a look back episode. I honestly don't know when I first watched Star Wars. I was somewhere between 3 and 5 years old when I snuck into the living room, hid behind the couch, and watched a little bit of whether it was A New Hope or Empire Strikes Back. I'm not really sure. I just remember a lightsaber battle. I kind of remember Luke Skywalker. I think it's A New Hope because I think I remember Grand Moff Tarkin being there, but my memory of it's a little fuzzy. But it wasn't until I was like a little bit older, 7, 8 years old, my dad finally let us watch A New Hope. And we had A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back on VHS. The New Hope was kind of that, not quite the special edition version, but the remastered one that came out right before the special edition, so it had like improved sound, and it had a little intro by George Lucas and Leonard Maltin talking to him, and it was like a 10-minute intro that we always rewound through because it was way too long, and as kids we're just like, whatever, it's boring. And then the Empire Strikes Back VHS we had was actually one of the more original VHSs. It was very old, it had a beat-up box, and we made it a lot older because, well, we watched it a lot. And I watched all those VHSs a lot, and it wasn't until the special editions came out, which it was kind of cool that as a kid first getting into Star Wars, literally a year or so later after like starting to watch and getting in, starting to collect action figures, the special editions came out in theaters. It was like, hey, this movie that you're just starting to get into and become obsessed with, now it's in theaters. And I remember the first time I actually saw Return of the Jedi was on the big screen. It was in a theater and watching it with friends and family. And I don't think I felt particularly well that day because I think I remember being sick that night. But I remember sitting through Return of the Jedi and just in awe. I'd seen the end. Then we got the non-special edition, so without the extra stuff, the CG edition. So I'd seen it that way as well a little bit later. But it was really cool being able to sit and watch the saga unfold on the big screen again was pretty much incredible. And of course, as the special edition run ended, we got news, hey, there's going to be a new Star Wars movie. And I got to be that kid that got to be obsessed with the old trilogy and got to like sit and see it and then immediately turn around and get to see the new trilogies coming out. And that was a big excitement. I'd already been collecting all the action figures. My parents helped me collect most of what was the Battle of Hoth. As I've shown my AT-AT that's been through the many years of playing and moving and everything that I've done with it, it's stuck through it somehow in pieces. Most of the rest of Hoth did not survive, but I that was my favorite battle, and I would reenact it, and I had it set up. There's pictures of me that I would just set up and fighting the whole battle, and I would play both sides. I had both the Imperial side and I had the Rebel side, and that battle would reenact. So I had this ingrained love of the original trilogy even before the prequels came out, which is, I think, a little bit important to have that initially because the prequels can burn you out. So as you can see, I had a pretty good foundation going into the prequels. And that being said, I didn't hate The Phantom Menace the first time I watched it. I didn't hate it the second time I watched it in theaters. Heck, I didn't hate it when we got it on pay-per-view for the third time at a hotel. It was really once we got it on home video, and we got it on VHS, $15 or so, if I remember right, so crazy expensive, right, when you think about VHS now, nearing the end of the VHS era as well. But we got Phantom Menace, and after watching it like 3 more times, I finally like, oh, this isn't as good as the original. Midichlorians? Why is that kid so whiny? Oh gosh, Jar Jar. It all started to sink in like, this isn't what I remember about Star Wars. And as a kid, I think we kind of I looked at it, and I was like, wow, this is Star Wars. It's back on the big screen. It has to be good. It's Star Wars. And it finally sunk in. I was like, this isn't really Star Wars in a lot of ways. I can pick out Phantom Menace a lot of good things from it. And while a lot of people look at Phantom Menace as the thing that killed Star Wars, for me, it's the next movie that nearly killed my fandom. Star Wars, Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. I remember seeing it in theaters. Now, this is the one I didn't see opening weekend. We saw it, I think, maybe 2 weeks out. It had been a while. It wasn't as big of a crowd. We'd waited down, my family and a couple of friends. We'd gone to this. And this is the first time I remember hating something Star Wars related. I remember just sitting in the theater and just not enjoying any of it. The love story felt forced. It is forced. The action just wasn't cool like Phantom Menace felt when I was a kid. It just did not work. Nothing about Attack of the Clones worked. So much so that I've only revisited Attack of the Clones twice since then. It's a movie that is hard for me to sit down and watch because I hate it that much. Now that I've seen different scenes, I still love a lot of the elements. I think great characters have come out of it. I think Jango Fett is an interesting character. I love Count Dooku, especially in the Clone Wars, and what they've done with him, and introducing him was just a great character. And anytime you get Christopher Lee in a movie, it's always a win. I remember the Yoda fight being cool, but I just remember Attack of the Clones just grating on my nerves. And every time I watched it, it kind of had that same feeling. I can't stand that movie. That movie, for a period, killed my Star Wars fandom. I didn't really collect toys from that point on. I didn't collect any for Attack of the Clones. I remember there not being as many toys as well. Didn't really read any of the books, didn't play any of the games. I didn't care about Star Wars anymore. Star Wars was dead. It would take several years for that fandom to return. But it did return. In 2005, right before Revenge of the Sith came out. It was probably several months that fandom started to come back. I remember watching the original trilogy with some friends, watching Phantom Menace even again. And I think one of the big things was that a lot of my friends were into Knights of the Old Republic. Now, I did not have an Xbox, so I really did not get a chance to play Knights of the Old Republic at that time, but I got to watch a lot of my friends playing it. I got to experience it and see it and hear about it and how cool it was. It was the game that brought back the fandom because I started remembering, I was like, wow, Jedi are cool. Lightsabers are cool. This whole universe is really awesome and deep, and I can't let one film destroy it. And so getting ready and excited for Revenge of the Sith began, and the excitement was really there. That movie was big. It was going to be awesome. It was going to be a return. The trailers were amazing. Even if they showed basically the whole movie, the trailers were neat. The Clone Wars TV show that had come out, the little short one with the hand-drawn animation that was incredible, and it introduced this awesome character named General Grievous who killed Jedi, and you had Asajj Ventress being introduced, and she was awesome, and Dooku was attacking people, and it was so cool, and Star Wars was back. And then sat down and watched Revenge of the Sith, and I liked it. It was not the original trilogy, but I enjoyed Revenge of the Sith. There are so many good things to be taken from Revenge of the Sith. And that's why it was great to be able to sit back. And it was great to be able to be like, Star Wars is back! What are we going to do? What's after that? Oh. Nothing. Okay. So I had to find other ways to fill your needs. I read several of the books. Every time I went to the used bookstore, I'd find novels that I hadn't read or something I was interested in. I had 2 or 3, 4, and 5 over the years. I didn't read a ton, but I read some to keep kind of interest. Played several of the games. There was still excitement. And then the Clone Wars TV show came out. And that's when the fandom returned. There are few things worse in this world than the Star Wars Clone Wars movie. I luckily did not have to pay any money to see it because I was working at a theater at that time, and I got my movies for free. I would have been angered that I paid money for that movie. It is so unspeakably awful. But out of it, came the TV show. And because of the movie, I was turned off for several years to even try it. Go and watch the Clone Wars TV show. It's 6 seasons. It's on Netflix. Watch it. That's when I realized I have to read. I have to get anything I can that is Star Wars related. And then now Rebels is out. And there are all these new canon novels that I'm reviewing. The comics that I review. There's toys that I have and games and I have to have. And my wallet's like, you can't have all these things. I'm like, must find a way. And just with everything that I get here, it's so exciting. The Star Wars universe is back and bigger and amazing. And it took a while to get here. It took a while, and there was a layover, and I'm glad that we're here, because I wouldn't have bought myself a Star Wars action figure for my birthday if it weren't for all these things. So thank you all for watching the videos that I have been making and putting out. It means so much. We went over 2,200 views on the channel just this week. It's great that I can just sit here and I can talk Star Wars, and you all listen. We've been getting comments, likes, and people talking about it, and it means the world to me that people are watching and people are loving Star Wars as much as I do. So continue watching, telling me why I'm wrong, why I'm right. Tell me where you started your Star Wars fandom. What created it? What is built in you? In the comments below, let me know. As always, I'm Shawn Redman, a.k.a. the cheesily named Darth Shawn. And may the Force be with you. Always.